And hello, beautiful listeners. Like I mentioned in my intro, I have the lovely Lyndy Jewell back for another episode, and I am so delighted because Lyndy was probably the first person to facilitate a manifesting workshop that I attended back in my early days. And I knew immediately, Lyndy, when this idea came for this series, I need to have you back on, not to mention that we enjoy your antics around here. So, everyone, here's Lyndy.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on, Kasha. It's so nice to catch up again.
I know, and it's always so lovely to have you. And I know my listeners really enjoy listening to you because you are so down to earth. You are just yourself and no fuss, no fluff, kind of psychic. And this is, I think, what I loved from the moment I met you, from the moment I looked for psychic spiritual teachers. So we get to talk about manifesting today. Now, what
Ooh,
makes
what?
you, in your opinion, the right person to talk about manifesting?
I guess probably again that kind of simple approach. You can complicate the shit out of it if you want, or you can just fucking get off your ass and do it. And I think that you can there's absolutely like align yourself spiritually and get yourself balanced and aligned energetically, but really being conscious of the fact that we have to take the action. We can't sit on our ass in a lounge room and expect the universe to drop what we want in front of us. You've got to move. And I think that sometimes there's a bit of a disconnect from the reality of what's required from us personally for manifesting. So I think that probably has helped me a lot when manifesting my own stuff is yeah, sure, you can run around in circles a little bit, but at some point you've got to kind of say, fuck this shit. What am I doing? What action am I taking? And actually do it.
Oh dear. I said to Lindy, I'm gonna mute myself while you talk because I'll break out in some laughs and stuff, and you don't need to hear this interrupting your flow. But oh my god, this is pure gold. This is why I knew you would be so perfect to be part of this series because um, you lift us up and then you bring the reality and like down to earth. And here's some practical steps. Lindy, before we dive then more into this, I like to ask my guests, this is a new thing. If you're at a party or perhaps at your kids' school, although your kids are older now, but let's say back in the day when they were, and someone says, what do you do for a living? How do you introduce yourself? What do you say?
Oh, well, now I say I'm a psychic medium and I just watch their faces either drop or watch them step back or watch them light up and get all excited about it. And I love that. But for a very long time, I used to say I'm an administrator. Like for probably 3 years after I stopped doing administration, was actually doing this full time. I was still saying I do administration because I was scared to come out of the spiritual closet. But now I love it. Sometimes I just flat out say I talk to dead people just to get a reaction just because I love a laugh and it kind of breaks the ice. But I have no qualms now telling people what I do. And it's funny, I've been more and more recently, because psychic medium doesn't really cover the breadth of what I do. Really, my absolute number one joy in doing this work is lifting people up energetically. So the psychic and the medium work do that, but really the energetic kind of healing or clearing or lifting is absolutely my jam. So I probably need to change that a little bit and say I am a I don't know, what do you call that? Energetic cleaner? I don't
Oh, I
know.
like the energy cleaner. I like to say an energy manipulator on
Yeah.
like where I write it down, but saying it to people, I haven't said it yet because then I dread the what does that mean? What do you mean? Like you manipulate people, right? It's the same with
Yes.
psychic medium. Yes, you're right. It doesn't fully encompass what you do. Um,
No, no.
but
And
you
that's so
have
funny, isn't it? The word manipulation has such negative connotations, but it's a word I use in my work all the time because it's about helping you move and change, which is what manipulation is. Move and change into a better place. It's not manipulating anyone to do anything against their will. It's just encouraging and creating momentum for change. And I bloody love that.
Yeah, so spot on. That's exactly how I feel. I feel like it's almost like we go there, we're like shift things around and move things, but then we do have to take the action. So can you please tell us how does the practical taking action come together with the energetic, the secret fluff of manifesting? Like, how do you see it all come together?
Yeah, that's probably a really good question because there's so many elements to it. And it's not just one thing is manifesting. It absolutely is so many elements, but where your energy is at in the moment that you are trying to manifest and allowing that to change and evolve over time, because most things we want to manifest take a little bit of time, don't they? So we have to kind of roll with our own flow, work out where we are and what we need and do that. So I guess probably talking about energetically aligning and balancing ourselves so that we can be as light and bright as we can be energetically, and also being willing to negotiate with the self-doubt and the limiting beliefs and all those practical kind of head fuck things that we have going on, and the emotion, dealing with the emotion of it and getting past whatever emotional blocks and limitations there are as well, for the purpose of really tuning into what you want and actually and taking the action. So the reason that we don't take action is because we're fucking scared. We've been knocked back before, we've been let down by others before, we've been let down by ourselves before. That's the hard one. And we've got so much evidence of shit that hasn't gone right to believe that we can change things and that we can get what we want and we can get to where we desire, really takes concerted effort on all of those fronts, and your energy needs to be good for that. Otherwise you're going to run out of puff and just go, oh fuck it, too hard, and then fall back into old habits, and there goes your manifesting, poof, all gone. Try again.
That's really interesting, especially the changing of habits. But you've mentioned fear, that we're scared. Have you, through the work that you do, identified what we're scared of in particular? Is there something that really holds us back?
It depends on different things for different people. So I guess some people could be scared of being, that I've been told this before, scared. Are you scared of success or are you scared of failure? Like, do you want to stand out in the crowd or do you want to just quietly be super phenomenal? You've got to be prepared for success. But you've also got to be prepared to fuck up. Manifesting isn't a one-stop shop. Every chance that you'll have to make mistakes to get to where you want to go. So being prepared to fuck up, there's a huge fear around that. But there might be for people, fear of financial ruin if they've had some sort of experience with that with their families, whether it's fear of money generally, or there's been bankruptcy in the family at some point that you've been part of, then the thought of going anywhere near, taking a risk or having a go at something new that isn't just entirely kind of tunnel vision and one aspect or one known positive outcome, then it can be really tricky. So I don't think it's ever one thing for one person either. There's likely to be obvious triggers for certain people, but there will be underlying stuff there as well. You kind of need to dig deep to find that shit. And often, seeing someone that does energy work in one way or another, whatever floats your boat, can help you get to the bottom of that faster. So, because sometimes I that I love going to see other people who do energy work, whether I get a reading or a healing or whatever, and they'll bring stuff up and I'll go, oh, fuck, that's right. I forgot that's a thing. I forgot that that's where I get stuck and I'm stuck there again. Awesome. It's been pointed out. Now I can move past it. And it just speeds the process up. So highly recommend any form of energy work as part of your manifesting.
You've raised a really good point there, Lyndy, because often we are too close to the problem, or we are so in the forest we can't see it for all the trees, as they say. So someone like you standing outside can really highlight it for us, like, this is what's happening, this is where you get stuck. So in your sessions, for example, or with the work that you do now, I remember I took part in this amazing workshop that you had, and we'll talk about your workshops later, but you also do it in your sessions, obviously. So if, let's say, someone comes and, you're doing the energetics and, stuff comes up, do you then tell them, well, as a psychic, this is what's going, don't even bother trying to manifest $10,000 months because it's not going to happen. It's not in your future, and sort of predict it? Or do you say what is available. So if they say I want to have $10,000 a month, I don't even know where this comes from. But anyway, let's
Yeah.
run with the ten thousand
Use that
dollar month.
example. Yeah.
you know, do you then feel into like, okay, well, this is what I see, or this is a timeline, or this is how you get there. Here's some tools. Like, how does that work? And I guess the reason I'm asking is because some people believe that psychics predict the future, but some believe that a future isn't set in stone. So how, so do we have more pull with manifesting then?
Yeah, good question. I think, well, personally, I think it's always I also think that the future is up to you. So I can guide someone as to what's available. It's up to them whether they grab it and run with it or not, and how quickly or slowly they do that. It's never a forced thing like, oh fuck, this is coming, look out. So when someone comes to see me, whether it's online or in person, I guess there's so many different ways that I see energy that it's hard to be specific about one way, but I'll talk about a couple of the ways that I do it. So, for example, sometimes I will be shown a timeline, but I'll be shown a timeline going backwards as well, and going, well, that's slowing you down, and this memory is slowing you down, and this is fucking you up a bit. So let's deal with that. And I love the way that angels and guides, or whatever the fuck you believe in, work with me, is that they will only show me stuff that they're helping with. So when they show me these glitches in the past that are kind of impacting you now, it's like boom, boom, boom. These things are, you're not just made aware of them, you have assistance with healing those and getting rid of them. So you won't forget them, but they don't impact you as much as they do, as they have been. And in that, then I'll often be shown a timeline going forward as well. And you might be saying $10,000 months. And there might, I've absolutely had this before. I've gone, oh, you know what? Why the fuck aren't you aiming for 15? Because 10,000's too low. Like, you need to aim higher because it's available to you. You're actually fucking yourself over by not setting your goals high enough, and it will come quicker. Have you thought of this? Have you put this in place? Have you contacted this person? And what's that thing about the car? What's that about? So there'll be a whole lot of different things that come up for people. And I work with people that are such a massive range of people. I work with people that run their own multi-million-dollar companies. I work with CEOs, but equally I work with people that are just starting to get businesses off the ground, or people that are trying to transition their career to work for wages. There's no one type of person that I work with, but there is always, always, always opportunity for growth and abundance. But we fuck ourselves over. We block it unintentionally, but it's there. And exactly like you said before, with not seeing the forest for the trees, like our own shit's here. To have someone come in and have that external perspective and help you navigate it, God, it's easier, so much easier.
That is, I was just, sorry, I was having a moment where I'm like, oh my God, yes, this is why I love talking to you, Lyndy, because you put so many things into perspective. And so a lot of it is tangible stuff and tangible advice, but I love how you can see that someone is perhaps setting their goals too low, and that there's more available to them, which is so fantastic, because I definitely also believe that a future isn't like set in stone. There's multiple unlimited timelines. Very much like you said, depending on the energy, depending on the person, it will all be sort of slightly, different situations, different stories. So my question to you, I guess, is now, when someone is doing all the things, and this is actually a question from someone in my community. They're doing the things, they're listening to, like, Abraham Hicks and all the manifesting teachers. They've got their vision board, they're visualizing things, and in their belief, things aren't happening. They still aren't manifesting. I feel like I know the answer, but I would love for you to tell us, what do you think? Like, what if someone came and told you this? What would you say to them?
Well, my immediate thought is that you're putting your energy in a whole lot of other people's beliefs. Where are yours? So you centering your energy and really looking at what you believe and what you connect with. This is the thing with all these highfalutin leaders. Like, absolutely learn from people, but don't go, right, I'm going to do exactly what that person says because they look like they're successful, and so I'm going to do that. that's not going to fucking work for you. It's not going to work for anybody but that person. So you have to put your own kind of spices in the spaghetti bolognese kind of thing. Everyone's doing the same thing, but you got to do it your way. So if you've vision board, if you've had your vision board for 6 months and you've ticked half things off it, excellent. Peel everything else off it and start again, because there's every chance that you've changed direction slightly from when you've made it and you're hanging on to old ideas. So it may be that Abraham Hicks was exactly the one that you needed 12 months ago, but maybe it's someone else now. Or, maybe you can go, well, I really like that element of what they're saying, but I don't like that bit. So don't fucking integrate that bit into your life. It's not every tiny step that someone else teaches is not the only way to get there. This is when I'm mentoring people, and Kasha, you probably remember this from when I was mentoring you, doing it your way. I didn't teach Kasha to be mini Lyndy Jewell. I didn't teach Kirsten Elbon to be mini, there's all these people. I think that your own magic is the thing that matters. And I'm obviously talking here about other, energy workers and healers and readers and stuff, but for manifesting, same fucking thing. You are utilizing your magic to bring in what you want. And if you are outsourcing a whole lot of energy, doing all the things that everybody else is telling you, where is your energy left in that equation? And your energy is the most fucking important thing. So ground yourself, however the fuck you do that. Don't be too dramatic about it. Just fucking do it. Get your feet moving forward and stop kind of looking around you. It's almost like walking down a path, looking around you or behind you at what everybody else is doing. How the fuck is that helpful? You've got to get focused on what you want. Grab the bloody magic on the way from all these people who are offering to teach you whatever, but do it your way. Your speed, your gait, your steps matter.
Yes, I love that. Oh, that is so good. I feel like I'm always out of questions because you have nailed everything in, like, and we didn't pre-rehearse this. There's no script to it, but I could happily end the episode here and feel complete, but I won't, because I love spending time in your energy, and I know that we can go in, so many other directions.
Oh, wherever you want, mate. I'll go there.
No, but I really love, and I do remember in your teachings you always said not, to be our own, do stuff our own way. And I guess one of the things that always resonated with me, and I guess coming from this sort of belief of like a psychic will tell me the future, in the beginning, when you first said this particular thing, it didn't like, it resonated, but I was like, like I expected a magical pill. Now, the thing that you said to me, and I don't know if you remember this, but it was, I will tell you something, like, for example, you're going to get a red car, but you might say to me, I don't like red cars, and that's fine, because you get what you want, right? And that made me later on go like, yes, that's what in my opinion, true psychic, energy healer, energy manipulator should be like. They open the doors to possibilities instead of saying, no, you're going to have a red car. It's going to be a red car because I'm seeing a red car. You kind of left this is what's available to you. A car. I'm seeing red, but if you don't like red, it could be a different color. Let's not get stuck on the color, right? It's about the car that you want. And I really, really, really love that. But do you get people who come to you expecting the magic pill, like fix my life, fix my problems, that kind of thing?
Very rarely. I think I've managed my filters pretty good. So I had one probably about 12 months ago, a lady who pretty much wanted me to give her the Tats Lotto numbers. I was like, look, seriously, if I could do that, I would be on a beach in the Bahamas. But I think people are quite good about, and probably with the way I get recommended to people is that Lyndy makes you feel better. So I get people coming to me who want to sort their shit out. They don't, they are aware of their input in that, and they're not necessarily always expecting the magic bullet. There are definitely people out there that want that. And it was funny, I did the Mind Body Spirit Festival in early November, and there was a couple of people that came across me that were kind of fishing for that kind of information, and I just very kindly and politely sent them on their way, because it's just not what I do. I just have no interest in that. It doesn't light me up. It doesn't help you long term. Just not interested. So I guess I manifest the clients that resonate with me the most, and the ones that I get are the ones that are aware of the shit they need to sort out and just need some guidance and some support and some nurturing with that. And I plug them into that and send them on their way. And I fucking love nothing more than watching other people shine. Usually it's women. Most of my clients are women, but absolutely men as well. And particularly kids too. Love that. Watching them go, oh, yeah, I am fucking amazing. I can do shit. And sometimes we just need that little burst of confidence that we can't create ourselves. We need to get some sort of, I guess, evidence from someone else, and often a psychic can be that person, because it's almost like, oh, I can see these possibilities in the future, and it makes part of you, the person receiving the information, go, oh, yeah, that makes sense, because I want that and I can create that and that can happen. And then it connects you to the positivity, whereas we kind of get caught up accidentally in the negativity and the bloody dark rabbit holes of our thinking and what we're capable of. Sometimes you just need someone to pop you out at the other side of that and go, there you are, you fucking shiny sparkle ass you, on your way, go and be awesome. And it's enough to keep everyone going and keep that momentum going for however long. It may not be forever. You might need to check in again, and that's perfectly fine. Let's set you up for success again, and off you go. I love that.
I love that too. I love that you do that because I want to ask so many things, but especially because you empower people, because the last thing we want to do, and the last thing you want to feel when you come into someone's session, is that you're this passive traveler through this life, right? Which is, I think, often when we're told this is going to happen, you're going to meet this guy, at the end of the year at this bar, and you're like, well, then what's the point of me going and socializing with people? I'll just wait for the end of the year, right? And so that like, what's the point of then doing anything? Just go to a psychic, right? Get your whole life planned out, and then you just kick back, and there's no growth, no nothing. You're just this passive traveler.
Yep.
So I really love that you empower us and highlight that, we're supposed to be active, through our journey here. We're supposed to be taking challenges, fail maybe, learn, grow from it, right? And shift directions, try new things, aim higher. And it's
Yeah,
really,
meet the right people as well. I
yeah.
get quite often people come to me and I'll say, oh yeah, there's a new job coming for you. And I'll say that's not the one, but this job is important. And people will always ask me, and rightly so, well, what's the real job? And I go, they're not telling me that. They're angels and guides, whatever, are not telling me, or you'll go straight to that job, and that's not the point. You need to do this stepping stone one in the middle to gather either more information or network a bit or learn something you wouldn't have learned any other way, and then the next opportunity opens up. You don't necessarily get to skip the steps. Sometimes you do, but it's not really up to us as the psychic or the guidance giver. We're just letting you know what's available and what's ahead, but we can't well, personally, I anyway can't give you always the minute detail of it, because you're not allowed to have it, because you'll fucking miss steps and go, because we're human, right? We just want to get shit done, but that's not what life is. Life is living.
Oh my God, I'm so loving that you just said this, Lyndy, because literally just before we went live, I had a couple of sessions this morning, and in one of the session, this was the conversation I was having. I go like, okay, sometimes they show me there's a heads up, there's a bump coming up, just be careful. Sometimes they're like, no, the road is clear, you can do whatever you want, pick this, it's all good. And sometimes they go like, yeah, sure, go ahead, but they're not telling me, is this going to be good? Is this going to be bad? Because you actually have to go through this, and something, there's some learning for you, or some growth, some expansion, some experience. So they're not going to say, haha, go, but it's not going to be pretty. So we
And
don't
how
see
often, I
sometimes.
bet you get it all the time as well, where people come back to you and go, that really, and I never remember, to be honest, but people say, that really vague thing that you said 6 months ago about blah, blah, blah. Well, it turned out to be whatever. And I was like, oh, no, I never would have picked that. But yay, good on you for joining the dots and working out what the fuck it was, because in the moment we had no idea.
So much, again, so much. And it's funny because sometimes something comes through, and obviously we don't, I don't know about you, Lyndy, but sometimes I go like, I'm not seeing the whole picture, this is what it feels like to me. But I really
Yep.
feel like you just have to go and go through it, and you'll be fine, everything will be fine, but you have to go through it, without all
Yeah.
the details. And then when they come back, and or we have a chat somewhere, they go, oh, like, that's why you couldn't see it, because in it I had to pick this or pick that, or sometimes there's a heads up, that comes up, and they're like, I don't feel like there's any heads up. And I had actually someone then message me and go, you know what, a couple of days after that reading, I got an email, or this happened, and everything made sense. But I remembered what you said, that I'll be fine, and I cruised through it, And this is what it is, because again, we're
Yeah.
active here, right? We're supposed to be co-creating. We're not supposed to be creating a beautiful vision board, I think, and then just kicking back and kind of going, like, oh, everything will happen. Because what happens to our energy when we do that? Well, it becomes stagnant, right? Like, our
Yeah.
energy doesn't really, our energy works with the environment, I feel, with other people. And so something happens when you look at your vision board. You get excited, you can feel it, you have that vision, but then you step away and you've got kids screaming, and the house is messy, and the husband hasn't cooked his dinner, and you're like, ugh.
I know. I know, right? Damn you, real life.
Yeah, right. And so you go like, damn it. So if something happened to you in that moment, your energy plummeted a little bit. And if you allow yourself to stay in it, perhaps that's why it takes a little bit longer, because you chose to stay in that energy instead of going, all right, this doesn't feel great. How can we bring ourselves back to some sort of, fantastic outcome? Um,
Yeah.
do you feel that as well? That
Yeah,
you have to take
absolutely.
action.
And it's so interesting because we get caught up in the day to day because we like life's busy. There is so much shit to do. There is so much pressure on us, and we forget to acknowledge that sometimes things are really fucking tough. And trying to reset that on your own can be tricky. So sometimes you do need to outsource it to someone else, but it's not the only option. Sometimes you maybe stepping back, and that's where things like creativity or journaling or meditating or walking on the beach or whatever the fuck it is that helps you kind of disconnect your brain a bit from all the overthinking and all the dramatization of what's going on around you can be really helpful with manifesting as well, because it is that opportunity to reset your energy at some level to give you a fresh starting point. So we get momentum and it stops or it pauses, or some asshole says something that knocks us back, and then we get more momentum, and then same again. And it's a bit of a repeating pattern, but the main thing is that you keep moving one way or another. That stagnant energy situation is not where you want to stay, but it kind of gets comfortable sometimes. So you've got to make
Mm.
yourself look around, see what you're not doing, see what needs to change, and actually fucking do it. So, one way that people can do this, if they want a little tip about that, is to break it down a little bit, because you can kind of go, oh, my energy's fucked and I don't know where to start. Well, you probably won't if your energy's fucked. You probably won't know where to start. So take a moment to let yourself almost break your current experience down into 4 sections. So physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. So what are you doing for yourself physically? Did you go for a walk this morning? Are you drinking your water? What are you doing are you eating relatively healthy? I'm certainly not one for fucking organic vegan eating, but everybody knows I love my Cheezels and my bourbon. But if I know that if I haven't had a decent wallop of veggies in the last 3 or 4 days, I'm going to start fucking feeling it energetically as well. Mentally, what shit is floating around your head that you can control? Every now and then you have to just tell the voices in your head to fuck off and leave you alone for a minute so that you can reset it. But is that by playing loud music and singing your guts out badly in the car? Is it like the journaling thing, getting stuff out of your head? Who knows? Whatever it is for you, have a go at that. If it's something that's not shifting using the methods you've used before, do something fucking different. Be prepared to try something new. Emotionally, where are your emotions at and what are you stuck on? Again, what reset opportunity have you got there to fill yourself up one way or another? Do you go and pick flowers and put them in your house and they give you that little kind of emotional, energetic boost? It could be anything. You don't have to buy yourself a $400 bunch of flowers. You might be bloody picking the blossoms off a cherry tree or whatever. It doesn't matter. And then spiritually, your connection. So again, is it journaling? Is it meditating? Is it letting feeling yourself connect with your spirit guides? Even if, like, to be honest, I don't even know what mine look like, and I don't give a fuck. I just know that they pump me full of gorgeous energy, and I'm so grateful to them for that. But again, we can get all up in our heads about, oh, I need to know what their names are and which fucking planet they're from and blah, blah, blah. No, just gratefully receive the energy that's offered and utilize the fucking thing. They just want you to be happy. They want you to be moving. They want you to be growing. Honor that with them by calling it in, filling yourself up, lighting yourself up energetically and moving that forward. So in breaking it down in the 4 different ways, it can just give you a little bit of somewhere to start, because I know what it's like to be weighed down by everything and not be able to see clearly and not know where to start. So that's a little tip that people can use to maybe reset themselves if they feel like they're really under the pump or unable to move.
And those were amazing tips, and thank you for sharing them with us, because I was thinking about what you said, Lyndy, about the Tatslotto numbers, because I know I've got a couple of people in my world that I love because they're very much in this world, grounded, matter of fact. And so especially in the beginning, when I would share with them like what I do, what I feel I can do, and they would straight away, when the word psyche comes up, they always go, all right, tell me the Tatslotto numbers. And one person in particular was like counting me down, like, just give me the numbers, just give me the numbers. And I finally gave him some numbers, and I said, they gave me these numbers, but they wouldn't say which game or what day. So you got to figure this out, right? So we had a bit of
you're
fun.
On your own.
You're on your own.
It.
But I was thinking about it, and because, then, this person goes like, yeah, but if it's that easy, why can't you just tell me the numbers, And I go like, well, maybe you're not meant to win the Tatsalotto. Maybe you're here for something else. Maybe you're meant to work really hard and, in your crappy job and like work really hard. No one is. But I was just having this thing with him where I'm like, maybe you're not here to win Tatsalotto, And so I wanted to say that if anyone is listening and thinking, well, going to psychic makes sense, you should be able to get Tatslotto numbers, or I don't know, whatever, whoever wins when. It's about the journey often. Do you find as well, Lyndy, like it's actually the journey? I mean, yes, you might as well play Tatslotto and win without the numbers, or whatever, you dream up the numbers and you might as well win Tatslotto, but it's actually the journey, because how many winners, Tatslotto winners, lose the money and they're right back where they started, or even worse, right? So it's not about the money, it's about who you become, maybe in pursuit of this money, who you will become when you have the money. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, and I've got clients that are multi-millionaires that come to see me because, or had been coming to see me because they weren't happy. Like the contentment doesn't come from the money. So, and I think people forget that kind of big win situation can lead to a whole different layer of stress. So it's not necessarily the magic bullet that fixes everything for people. And I think there's a lot of people in the community that forget that, because the only thing they're acknowledging in their current experiences that they're financially under pressure. But what about all the other shit? Where's your gratitude at? What is going well? Who are the people in your life that maybe won't be there if you are suddenly a multi-millionaire and decide to live in the Bahamas? Like that, the people around you, they matter. Like the way that we interact with other people's energy, the way that what the outcome's going to be of certain things, who you're going to meet, your magic contributing to other people, like your energy matters too. So there's probably people in your life that you're contributing to one way or another, or people watching you going, yeah, that inspires me, I'm going to do that. Maybe that option wouldn't be there for people. So I agree. It's some people are supposed to win it, some people aren't. Maybe. We don't know the fucking rules. This is the thing, right?
That's the
This
thing, we
shits me
don't
when
know.
when people say, I'm a psychic medium and so therefore I know exactly how everything works. I just want to call bullshit on that, because you're not fucking dead yet. And even if you have lived your past lives, we get little snippets of what that was and how that was. It's not like we have that reel playing in our head every moment, because we can't. Otherwise we'd be reliving that life. So the being on the other side, and I'm sure that we're all going to get there and go, oh, is that how it works? Well, that makes sense. But right now we're fumbling around trying to find the rules and making it work the best we can for ourselves, knowing that we'll never have all the rules just yet. So be okay with that. Make the best of what you've got. Utilize whatever knowledge you pick up, and come back to that fucking gratitude If you are upright and breathing, you are doing a shitload better than a whole lot of people around you. And I'm not always a big advocate for, compare yourself to others, but sometimes you need to recognize what you've got going for you, just so that you stop whinging and bitching but moaning about the shit that you don't have. And that can kind of be a bit of reality to check for people. And certainly I have to do it to myself occasionally as well. So, we're psychics and we're mediums and we're energy workers, but we're also fucking human, and each of us need a kick in the ass with that occasionally as well. So, be aware of that. Doing this work doesn't give us all the answers. We're as human as fuck.
So true, so true. And I think it's what we really sign up for here is not to know how to get from A, birth, to B, death, perfectly, seamlessly, effortlessly, unharmed, but to navigate through this journey, because we signed up essentially to come into a world of dualities, like you said, functioning in a 4 ways simultaneously: body, mind, spirit, emotions, right? So even us, and this was, I think, the big this might be also a good little heads up for anyone jumping into the psychic world or awakening, that for me personally, this was the big kind of like, I thought I'll all of a sudden know everything. I'll wake up and I will have all the answers, but like you said, we can't.
Oh, we've been ripped off, right? It doesn't fucking happen.
It doesn't, and it's not, you can't have that real playing all the time, because you're still here to be a human and navigate through everything. So certainly helps to have gems like yourself helping us, who are standing outside of forest, who can go like, oh, this is where you're going, wrong, or this is what's holding you back. Lyndy, what do you think that having a vision, or being clear on your vision, or on what you want, is important?
I think knowing where you're headed is probably the key, because we tend to, and again, just being human, and I'm a fucking Virgo, which is very annoying, we tend to try and micromanage the energy of the universe, which is often why I get people and I go, why is that your goal? Why isn't it not more? Because our logical brain will go, well, there's a goal. Yep, logically, I don't see myself getting past that. But when you are able to tune into, or someone else is able to tune in for you, like your limitation sometimes needs to be restricted. I've actually completely forgotten the question now, but the point is that we can't, like, having a focus on something and what we want is great, but there has to be flexibility with that. Like, you might be trying to manifest a new house and you can't be telling it, I mean, maybe people can, I don't know, again,
Well,
that's going to be up to you. But
do you get clients who come in and say, I don't know what I want? I don't know
yeah,
what I want.
absolutely. Oh, and I fucking love that, because they get bombarded with information they didn't know they needed. And that's brilliant. So, some people will come in with a list of questions, and I love that too. There's no with session with me, I don't know about with yourself, Kasha, but with me, like, bring whatever is going on. Some people show up and sit in the chair, or jump on the screen and go, I don't know why I'm here. I just felt like I needed a session with you. I'm like, oh, beauty, this is going to be a wild ride. This will be great. Because there will be stuff that comes up that they didn't know they needed to know, but the universe has just gone, for fuck's sake, go to Lyndy. Go and, get your guidance that way, get your momentum, get your movement forward. I love that. You don't need to know exactly where you're headed to have someone help you with it. And you don't need to know exactly where you're headed either, as long as you kind of go, you know what, what's the underlying, I want a new house and I want to live in this suburb. Well, maybe you're going to live in 2 suburbs over. Maybe the thing you actually want is that joy, that connection to the freedom. So, and I know there's a lot of manifesting people talk about this, where sometimes it's not the thing that you want, it's the feeling that you're chasing. So being aware of that as well. So if we go back to the Tats Lotto example, that's probably an element of freedom that you really desire. So how can you create freedom around yourself in other ways? Are you committed to so many fucking things that there's no sense of freedom with time? Create that. Doesn't mean drop everything that you do, but be a little bit more selective about where you give your time, and that will translate to, oh, suddenly now the money's freeing up, suddenly now this is a bit easier, suddenly now there's freedom here as well, and a whole lot of elements of your life will fall into place. Sometimes it's just moving that one little, like what's that game, Kaplunk, moving one little stick to help everything kind of unblock and move. So see what you can change right here, right now, to allow your manifesting to be a fuck ton easier than it's been in the past.
Oh, so beautiful. You have just answered my next question. If we are
I do that, sorry.
Well, must be talking to a psychic.
Yeah.
Because that was my question. Like, where do we start when we feel like completely like, meh, and you've answered this because often, and I feel like this is what perhaps even if you don't know what you want, getting clear on, okay, I don't want this, but I want maybe the opposite of it, or the feeling that I want. Because yes, with the Tatsloto numbers, right? You may see this Tatsloto win as it will solve all my problems, freedom, security, if you're single, you'll catch a man or something,
Yeah.
But actually, when we break it down like you have just for us, what is underlying underneath this? Because then you realize, oh, it's not about this Tatsloto win, and perhaps I don't have to put all my eggs into this one Tatsloto basket. I can look at other things and just even uh you know making it possible for yourself right now, before you get there, before you have that Tatsloto win, before you have that money, like you said, creating more time, creating that freedom, that security, going out, saying yes to invitations instead of sitting and waiting for that man that you were told is going to come in a few months, right? And in the meantime, you might miss out on someone amazing. And I think the hardest thing to explain to someone for me is that our mind likes to know what are the options, how many options, and which one is the best option. But the
Yeah.
way I find or I see things is that there are unlimited options, and it's more, which one do you want? Where do you feel yourself energetically pulled? Or you might know already, I want to go down this path. All right, well, here's the best way forward, right? Instead of kind of going like, you've got option A, option B, option C. Option A is bad, option B is C. Go with option C, right? There's so many unlimited, and our mind just cannot, I think, retain or compartmentalize how it is. So I feel that this is a really good point, starting with what can you do right now. And you're not the first one to say that, how to create that emotion, to create that feeling, so that you can start aligning yourself with that energy, or as they say, with that timeline. Now, Lyndy, you have and we will ask you to pull a card, because you have cards. And I always like my guests to leave us with a little gift, which is either a message or a card. So we'll do that. I just wanted to give everyone a heads up. A card is coming your way from Lyndy. But before we go there, please tell us about your work, where we can find you, perhaps your workshop. I don't know if it's the same that I've done, whether you've revamped it, but tell us more.
Yes. So people can go to my website, lyndyjewell.com.au, and Lyndy is Lyndy, and Jewel has 2 L's at the end. And my sessions are on there. I do offer online and in-person sessions that range from half an hour to 90 minutes. I'm based in the Dandenong Ranges in Melbourne, which is just a beautiful place to be. But as I said, online as well. I've got lots of interstate and international clients. I've got cards. I've got the fucking honest oracle cards, and I've just released the Crude Creatures deck as well. So Crude Creatures has artwork, which is super exciting. My first ever deck with artwork, because I've got the awesome kids and the Get Fucking Motivated as well.
Did
So
you
my
draw
4th
it?
deck.
Sorry, did you do
Fuck no.
those?
No.
They're
I'm
very
like
cute.
yeah, they are beautiful artwork, and I absolutely bloody love it. But no, a beautiful a friend's mum actually in New Zealand did them, Anne Bannock, and it's just they're beautiful, whimsical, gorgeous images, but absolutely fucking brutally honest messages. So, and I love that contrast. I like being a little bit naughty, but I do love bright, shiny, pretty things. So it was a good combo. But yes, courses and classes. I've got the Oracle card course. I've got introduction to woo woo, all sorts of things. The manifesting course. There's meditations, all sorts of different things available on my website as well under the courses tab. So loads of ways to connect with me and work with me. And I offer mentoring as well. That's another option for people if they're looking at getting into this or not quite sure where their skills lie or how to I guess. Probably I love working with people in the mentoring space who genuinely want to make a difference. And that's what I loved about you, Kasha, is that there's this genuine desire to help people. And they're my favorite people to work with. And I've had so many beautiful people like yourself cross my path and work with them and watch them flourish and do really fucking well. So that's a beautiful thing I love to do as well.
Oh, I always love having you just for this little bit. That was special.
You
By the
are
way,
special.
oh, by the way, those cards, because I cut you off, Lyndy has also oracle cards for children, which I always get asked
Yes.
by moms what I can recommend, and I send them to you. And if you are down my way in Lakes, the hub has Lindy's cards as well. So
Yes.
that's a bit exciting. I was very excited when I
Yes,
saw
the
them.
Awesome Kids. And you know what? I mean, I'm probably most well known for the fucking Honest deck, but the Awesome Kids were the second deck I created. And honestly, they still have my heart. Like, they're the ones that kids, and again, at the Mind, Body, Spirit, like, they had nearly 15,000 people through the doors at that place. But the interactions that you get to have with the kids when you pull a card and it just touches their heart and makes them go, yeah, I am able to do that, or I don't need to overthink stuff, or I do need to drink more water, or whatever the fuck it is that gives them that little boost and lights them up. Like, we all remember being kids, and honestly, how fucking hard was it? And it's getting harder. These poor little buggers coming through with social media and all the pressure and blah. And so to give a kid a card from the Awesome deck they're not just affirmation cards, they actually have meaning. They will pull the one that they need, and there's also the booklet there that they can read if they want to look into it further. But it's yeah, they certainly are my favorite out of all the decks, but people would probably be surprised because I am so fucking sweary, but the way the energy came through for those was very, very significant, and I love them for that.
I plan on doing more work with children, and I will be getting them. So either locally or I'll be messaging you, Miss Lyndy, for some cards.
Yes. Excellent.
I need
Excellent.
those. Oh, fantastic. Okay, over to you now. You've got the stage to gift us this gift.
Excellent. So I've shuffled the deck in front of me. One has jumped out, and it's the whale, which says flow time, fucker.
You
and
don't
whale,
muck around.
All of these cards, and I'm showing the image because I know if you're on the podcast, you're not going to be able to see the image, but it is a beautiful image. And the cards all have underneath them, because at the time I thought it was hilarious. Now I cringe a bit, but they're otherwise known as a fleshy submarine. So all of the animals have got what they are. People can, and this is the great thing about oracle cards, isn't it, is that we can take the information that we want. So you might hear the word whale and go, oh my God, I know what whales mean for me. And that's the end of the story, and that's brilliant. You might watch the image, and the image here is a whale that's squirting water up in the air, and there's a lady resting on its back, and there's fish in the sea. You might go, oh my God, look at that fish. The color of that fish reminds me of my Nana's shawl that she always had. And and then that's the message. There's that reconnection to Nana. So always, always, always utilize oracle cards for how they need to be for you in that moment. There's not one way to do it your way. But for now, I'm going to read you the booklet. So it says, kick back, relax, and cruise into this next expansive chunk of life. Your previous deep dives into all sorts of mysterious shit have given you the opportunity to come up for air now and enjoy the brightness all around you. Make the fucking most of it.
Love it. There you go, everyone. And we got a bit of a crash course in reading cards from Lyndy.
Yeah,
so
just a quick one.
I love it. That is beautiful, and you're so right. And I love, because these cards have obviously the pictures. So for newbies who are just maybe getting started with oracle cards, I feel always when there's images that can be interpreted in all sorts of ways. It's just so easy then, because you don't get so stuck in your head, right?
Yes, and that's why my oracle cards came about, was to simplify the shit out of it. So I do have an oracle card course available on my website as well. for the purpose of dumbing it down, you can I just feel like we accidentally, when we're learning something new, we make it hard ourselves accidentally. But when you're trying to learn from people who also complicate it for the purpose of pumping up their own fucking tires, how annoying. We don't need that. You need the simplified, gloriously simple version, because that's how you learn, by actually being brave enough to give shit a go, be prepared to fuck it up, and learn as you go. So, if you want to learn the absolute brilliant basics of Oracle cards, then definitely go to my website and have a look at that course, because there's every now and then I just whack in a new video in that course too, because I go, oh, you know what else everyone needs to know? So it's kind of one of those ones that keeps
Gets
evolving. But I think
updated.
there's 8 or 10 little videos in there, so that there's lots of different ways and different methods of doing it. It's not like these are the rules. Like, who the fuck needs that?
This
No,
is what I
these
loved about them.
yes. Sorry, I go on, but I'll leave it there. It's
No,
available if
I
people want
love
it.
this, because this is what made me. I probably wouldn't have gone further in my evolution, in my, or allowed any more to come through, if it wasn't for the fact that you said, I remember you were saying to us, who cares about, like, when it's from this planet or this guide, or what they look like or what they sound like or whatever, like, because we do get so hung up, especially when we first start, like, I need to know, and then that's all we focus on. And I remember you
Mm.
were from the beginning, like, who cares, like, you've got this benevolent being talking to you, you've got someone, the energy is amazing, so just focus on the message. And that was always probably the best advice, the advice that I would give to any newbie connecting with their guides. But can I tell you a little secret about the whale? Why I love the whale that you
Yes,
pulled out, the
please.
whale.
Tell me.
This is going to be so random and so insignificant, but it meant so much to me. I am now crocheting this huge whale that I want to hang here locally on a fence. I'll take a photo
Oh,
when it's done, and
beautiful.
I'm working on it, and I'm like, doing it completely, like, intuitively, and then the whale comes up, and I was like, that's a sign. Keep going.
Love it. Well played, universe. Well played.
I know. So I love that out of all the cards, this one came out. So yes, that's
Perfect.
important to me. Thank you so much, Lyndy. It was, as always, a treat to talk to you. I am so
Oh,
grateful that you made the time for us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
anytime. I bloody love a chat with you, Kasha. Any other topic comes up that I'm helpful for, give me a yell. I'm more than happy to chat. I love it.
Yes, yes, I will, because I know my beautiful listeners love when Lyndy is on this podcast. I know we loved you last time. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Lyndy. Until next week. Bye.
Goodbye.